This webinar is titled Christopher Columbus, Expanding the Conversation to Central and South American Indigenous Peoples. Well, as we've already seen, Columbus went on 4 voyages, but on the 3rd voyage in 1498, his travels took him to the north tip of South America. He never spent much time there, but was along the coast, but it's interesting for the context of the times to understand the greater culture in which he sailed. Again, the following content includes graphic verbal descriptions, but images are safe. We've seen Howard Zinn make this statement that these indigenous people communities were more beautifully worked out than perhaps any place in the world, and found this to be false. It was true in the Antilles, but also in Central and South America. If you expand the context in which Columbus was placed to include not just the island cultures he encountered, but also to the other nearby tribes in the Mesoamerican regions such as Central and South America, it reveals that reports of cannibalism, slavery, and related actions are not the imaginations of a few biased Europeans, but the actuality of a larger cultural trend existent in indigenous American societies. Some type of death sacrifice normally accompanied all important rituals, and this is particularly true if we expand the conversation to the Aztecs. The method of sacrifice varied considerably, including gashing open the chest with a stone knife and ripping out the heart. This was the standard method. Decapitation, especially for female victims. Shooting with darts or arrows. The gladiatorial sacrifice, burning to death or to the point of death, accompanied by heart extraction, but also drowning, hurling from a height, smashing against a hard surface, strangulation, and then shutting up and starving people to death. After the slaves were murdered, often their hearts were extracted if they had not already been done. The skulls were then removed, prepared, and placed within the ever-growing skull racks or similar repositories. Lastly, the carcasses of the now decapitated and heartless victims were taken and consumed in a ritualistic feast. Some explorers discovered skull walls with nearly 100,000 pieces, and the largest recorded instance of mass sacrifice including up to 80,000 victims at the dedication of the temple in 1487. Most victims were slaves captured in raids and wars, but they even sacrificed their own children in some instances. I'm thankful to historian William Federer and historian David Barton to have correct and accurate history on these and so many things we're studying, rather than the fake history propagated by so many of today's historians. Again, this is something for us to think about in understanding Christopher Columbus in the context of his times.